Initiating moisture.
Welcome to the Moist Meter. Today we're taking a look at M. Night Shyamalan's new movie, Old. I'm not the biggest M. Night fan. I do like some of his movies and dislike others. Pretty much the same opinion everyone has of him. He'll sometimes make the worst movie you've ever seen in your entire fucking life with Avatar: The Last Airbender, and then sometimes make a good movie like with Split. So he's always just going back and forth between dog shit and not dog shit. So where does Old land on this spectrum? Somewhere in between dog shit and good, so like in that limbo, that purgatory, so maybe like dog urine. I want to make it clear, I don't think it's a bad movie. I actually really like the concept. It's just a bunch of people trapped on a small beach where they're aging rapidly. I think it's a really interesting and unique story idea, but it's so full of what makes M. Night's bad movies so bad that it takes away from it sometimes, which is awful dialogue. Like, the characters in M. Night movies sometimes just become like fucking like Google search engines that just verbalize the entire exposition to you. Like, if you looked up a plot synopsis and then fed it to the actor to say out loud, if that makes any sense. Like, for some reason, they just don't talk like human beings in some of his movies, and this is a good example of that. Like, they'll gather all the characters on this beach, and they're starting to figure out, what's going on here. Like, something is afoot. My 6-year-old is now 6'5", and he's like 40 years old. This is getting a little peculiar. And then they'll just go through like all of these crazy steps, like, okay, well, using what I understand about thermodynamics and ancient Egyptian curses, I'm able to deduce exactly what is going on this island to perfect accuracy. And then all the other characters will chime in, yes, he's absolutely correct, he's 100% right. And now I work at a museum, so I actually understand rocks quite a bit, so these rocks are actually magical rocks blessed by a wizard from the old King Arthur days. And it's like, the characters don't converse with each other. They like spit exposition back and forth, just like vomiting into each other's mouths, Two Girls, One Cup style. Like, they're never at any point do you feel like you're watching two characters talking. It's like a battle of who can dump the most exposition out of their mouths the quickest. But when they're not talking, I think that's when the movie's at its best. Because you have a really, like, pretty disturbing premise of these people are aging fucking 50 years over the course of 24 hours. Like, they are aging quick, and I think that as a plot device is really interesting to most people. Like, some of these kids, they were 6 years old, and then in 5 hours, now they're in their 20s. They are physically 20, but they still have the mind of that 6-year-old. So it's a pretty fucked up situation. People die and start decomposing almost immediately. If they get like a broken arm or something, it starts to heal broken unless they set it. Like, there is a lot of disturbing things that happen with the premise, and I think it's a really interesting idea. And you're constantly wondering, well, how the fuck do they get out of here? Because they try the most logical stuff in the beginning, I'd say. Just leave the way they came, but they have an explanation for why that doesn't work. Maybe try climbing over the rocks. Well, they have an explanation for why that might not work. Try swimming away. Everything has an explanation for why this beach is really hard to leave. So you're always wondering, well, how the fuck are they going to get out? And I think they do a good job of creating tense situations, because there's characters on the beach that you might not be able to trust because they have something going on that leads to them maybe being a danger to everyone else in the group. So I think there's a lot of things that work in this movie, but a lot of things that take away from it too. Without getting too deep into the spoilers here, I think the ending of the movie it kind of falls apart. I like the idea he had with how to end it, but I think he was just too afraid to actually end the movie in like a good spot. So instead, like, writes himself into a corner, and the ending kind of falls apart, and it kind of throws away a little bit of like what actually the mystery of what was going on there. I just feel like there was just at the end so many like lucky breaks that it gets silly, and then to wrap up the way that it didn't match the rest of the movie, in my opinion. I can't really get into it without talking about spoilers, and I'm still debating on whether or not to do like a section of these moist meters for a spoiler talk so I can actually get into it. Haven't decided yet, so I'm not going to bother with this one. But yeah, overall, I did enjoy the movie, but it's far from like a great or perfect film. But I definitely think it is an entertaining one with some interesting things in it. Plugging Old into the moist meter, I'm giving it a 60%. I feel like this movie would have really benefited from someone being there and just slapping the pencil out of M. Night's hand every time he went to write character dialogue. I think that would have really helped elevate the movie a bit higher and maybe play to its strengths a bit more. I really just think someone needs to go over the dialogue that M. Night writes and change it, make it work, because that is a seriously lacking element to his movies, I would say. At least recently. But anyway, I still think it is a fun movie to watch. Now I'd like to talk about Helix mattresses. One of the most important things you'll ever buy in your life is a mattress. I'm sure you've heard that a million times from everyone you've ever met, and it's extremely true. You're going to be sleeping on it every night, every single day. So it's extremely important you pick one that matches your body type, and everyone's body is different. For me personally, the old mattress I used was just a little too soft, so it led to lower back pain. And then I found Helix mattresses, which give you a nice, unique sleep quiz, which will pretty much match you with your ideal mattress, whether it's like a harder mattress, a softer one, just to fit your unique body type. And for me, I needed something a little bit more firm, and since then, I haven't had that problem. Helix mattresses are super convenient because they're delivered right to your door, just rolled up in a box, and it's just super quick to get them out. It basically unpacks itself. So that's really nice, so we don't have to struggle with that. Also, if it makes you nervous to buy something you haven't tried yet, Helix mattresses offer a 100-night sleep trial, so you get more than 3 months to make sure that you love it, and if you don't, they'll just pick it up for you and you get a full refund. So if you're interested in trying a Helix mattress, you can go to helixsleep.com/moist to get up to $200 off your Helix mattress plus 2 free pillows. That's helixsleep.com/moist for up to $200 off and 2 free pillows. See ya.